Good evening and welcome to Frontline News. I am your fill in host tonight, chap. Yolanda and Jason and family had a family emergency with some of the tribes in the community, so they are off taking care of family. And we are here tonight. So allow me to introduce myself for those of you who don't watch my show following Frontline News at 7. I'm Chaplain David Lovelace. Everyone across the city knows me as Chap. Um, I am a full time volunteer chaplain for Baltimore City through the police department volunteer chaplaincy program. I'm a community chaplain. We do a lot of community events, organizing, advocacy. We pretty much meet any kind of needs a community reaches out for. um, Real quick, I'm going to share our link in the comments in case anybody wants to join us tonight. Let me see. Give me 1 second, guys. So we don't have any planned guests for Frontline News. We do have a little bit of news. This morning, we're earlier on WLOLB. We were speaking with Stason Brooks and some people about the education system in Baltimore. A lot of opinions there, a lot of negative things. Pretty easy to find some negative things to say about it, and we need them to do better. Obviously, stats prove that we definitely need them to do better. We need to stop, I guess, telling narratives that aren't true and untruths, and in the hopes that the public forgets what's in front of us and what's happening. Um, yeah. So education. If you guys want to hop on and talk about education, we can do that. I recently was on the Mark Clark show Friday. We did a little panel. It was kind of fun. Didn't know what to expect. Had a very brief interview. We talked about Breadcoin. And so I'll share with you guys, if you're familiar with my show, you're familiar with Breadcoin. Breadcoin is a resource in Baltimore City that we use to feed people experiencing hunger access or food access issues, hunger, people experiencing homelessness or addiction. There's these obvious needs where we can meet people and feed them, right? Breadcoin is a way to serve that and meet that need. And bread coins are basically, they are tokens. I wish I had some moment to show you guys. So bread coins are community food tokens that are minted, and we distribute them throughout the community. I get over $1,500 a month in these coins to distribute throughout the community. So I give them to trusted partners and community chiefs and organizations, Comité de Latino, Level Up Baltimore, Agogi Project. Mr. Albert Miller is down in Broadway serving people experiencing homelessness. We give some out to some of the police and chaplains as they are serving the community. And what that allows them to do is they take the tokens and they give them out in the community. Then we have vendor partners across the city who are restaurants and caterers who are partnered with Breadcoin, and people are able to take the coins they receive and spend them at our vendor partners. So it gives them the dignity of when and what they eat. I'll tell you guys, I worked with Parks and Recs a couple years ago during the pandemic. We were handing out food, and the quality of food was not great. They had bologna wraps and just weird stuff that I wouldn't be interested in eating unless I was absolutely starving. And there were people that were absolutely starving. um, but Breadcoin tries to serve and meet that need with more dignity. I will say that we have caterers. We have some new partners in Lexington Market. One of the partners I want to talk about would be TOGs. So TO being Uncle G's over second floor Lexington Market. It's a Dominican spot. Them guys do empanadas, some different stuff. Very generous owners. They signed up recently with Breadcoin. They're on board with the program, but they have a little program of their own that they do. It's called Pay It Forward. And so if you guys go to TOGs and there's a line item on their menu, you can add $1 to your line item. And basically, you add $1 to your meal. And as people purchase this line item, the paid forward line item, they collect those dollars and they end up taking those dollars and spending them on people who don't have money. So, people can go to Uncle G's. You'll always eat no matter what. They'll never turn you down. And if you're short or you don't have money, they'll take that money from the paid forward program, and they'll make sure that you eat. So I love those guys. I'm glad they're on board with Breadcoin. We're trying to get in over at Northeast Market and Cross Street. Not so much. We'll get over to Cross Street eventually, but Avenue Market, trying to get back in there. So the more communities we get to, the more people we can feed. And let's see here. Wash hands. Okay. Wash hands. So yeah. So let's see. Hey, Pranithia. I hope you're still watching. It's Stacy. Yeah. So we're talking about Breadcoin real quick. It's a program I use across the city. Pretty significantly. We feed a lot of people. It empowers a lot of nonprofits. For more information, you guys can go to breadcoin.org. Find all the information there, vendor information. You can get connected with me. You can also donate. We can set up events. One of the unique things that Breadcoin likes to do, they like to partner with churches or religious institutions in the communities, and have those faith-based groups kind of set the table. And then Breadcoin partners with them and just comes in and caters events for the community. Right there, right there. It could be right there on the side of the street. It could be inside the church, whatever. It's really great. They like to invite people to the Kingdom table. I'll tell you, the last one we did in Baltimore was on across the street from the Why Not lot on North Avenue. We just set up in the parking lot. Had some. I think Island Cuisine catered. And what happened was, we went out through the community. I said, hey, we got free food. Nobody's really excited. So I was like, hey, we got free Island Cuisine. All of a sudden, everybody wanted some Island Cuisine, right? So, we had the jerk chicken Alfredo, the, oxtail stew, really good stuff out there for free. And what ended up happening was that you had people in the community, just residents. You had some public officials. You had some police. You had some construction workers from across the street. You had some people experiencing homelessness, some people experiencing addiction, and they were all sitting at the table together. So the flash table is what they call it. The table they set through Breadcoin really was a unique experience for me to perceive. A council person sitting with the police, sitting with some people struggling with addiction, like all at the same table. They had access to each other. They're having real conversations over the table and breaking bread. And so that was a really significant thing that we try to perpetuate with Breadcoin. There's obvious needs. If you see someone experiencing homelessness, want to buy them lunch, right? We buy them lunch. Some of the security and police officers at Lexington Market have this resource. They're able to de-escalate situations. They're able to treat people to lunch. Maybe, they know someone's having a hard time, whether it's somebody that like cleans at the market, or somebody that frequents a market as a customer, or whatever situation is. If one of their partners is having a hard time or something, one thing they're able to do with the Breadcoin is, without having to come out of pocket, is they can treat people with dignity and buy them lunch. And so building relationships, using that resource to build relationships in that space. Another thing we do is, we have some rec center directors that receive the coins. They're able to incentivize kids to participate in programs. We have some teachers that use the Breadcoin to incentivize kids for attendance or performance or whatever they need to. A lot of our boots on the ground people, whether you're a teacher, a rec center director, or just someone in the community, a lot of times we do a lot out of pocket. Pretty much we do everything out of pockets. The city gets a lot of money. It doesn't trickle down where it's supposed to go. They don't really take care of people they're supposed to take care of. And so we end up taking care of people and doing their job out of pocket. But the Breadcoins allows people, kind of gives us a break, right? Gives us a little further reach with our dollar. So there's all kinds of uses for it. I got all kinds of great stories we can share. Just want to put it out there again. Our StreamYard chat link is in the chat here. If you guys want to join us, have something you guys want to talk about. We got an hour to kill, sort of 50 minutes. I can I can share some other stuff we're doing in the community and bore you guys with that stuff because it's not quite as magical if you're not really involved. Those of you who are involved, you know what I'm talking about, man. We There's great joy in the work we do and the relationships we build and watching our community succeed. Um, one of my stories is one of the community organizations I like to support and sponsor is Level Up with Dason Brooks. This young man is definitely overextended. He needs all the help he can get, guys. He's out here working it, doing the job of teachers and doing the job of tutors and doing the job of parents and mentors and doing all of our jobs as adults in the community. And he's only 22. Picking kids up, dropping them off, getting them to places, teaching them, educating them, helping them with homework. He's fully invested, helping them with their emotional needs, getting them plugged in with all kinds of different resources and taking them on trips and camping. And this guy really does a lot on his own. Um, Stacy, so your church in Park Heights, how can you get break coins? Good question. So let me put my number out here. Let me put it on the screen here. So you guys can just text me directly. I mean, you can always go to breakcoin.org, but give me 1 second here. So I'm not afraid to share my number. I am a full-time chaplain with the city. I'm on call 24/7. So if you guys have a need, please reach out. So there's my number, 443-653-7724. So one of the really cool stories that is it's not a cool story, right? It's around a gun violence in Baltimore, but a way that Breadcoin was able to serve in that capacity. So I was sharing about Dason. Dason Brooks, there was a season a month or two ago where 3 of the young women he mentors through his program were all victims of gun violence within like a week or 2 weeks. One of the young ladies did not survive. And so he was able to take some of the bread coins we gave him. He connected with a caterer, Butler Cooking, who's one of our vendors, and he gave it was a couple $100, whatever the donation was that he was working with. He gave that to the caterer, and the caterer was able to make prepared meals for that family while they processed. Oh, you're welcome, Stacy. So they were able to take and make meals for the family while they processed the trauma and the loss of a daughter, which is very sad. The bread coins was able to have them have a couple, like a week or so's worth of prepared meals where that's one less thing on their plate while they process the trauma. And of course, there's a lot more to it. But it was like outside the box way that Breadcoin was able to serve the community beyond just the stigma of hunger and, homelessness. And on the other side, guys, for the churches that are interested, we'd love to partner with you guys and come in and just do events for the community. It's no skin off your teeth, man. You guys set the table. We bring the food. We bring the community together around the kingdom table as is intended. And it's a really great time. It's a really great time of growth and relationship building. As far as our vendors and other restaurants, if you know other restaurants in the city that are in the community and they're already serving the community, this is a way for them to serve the community without compromising their bottom line, right? So our partners, basically, there's a link. You sign up. You say, I'm going to receive these tokens, which each token is worth $250. They basically receive the tokens as payment for things off their menu. So we're not asking them to donate anything. We're not asking them to come off their bottom line. They just say, yes, we'll receive these coins as payment. They collect the coins once a month. Breadcoin comes in, cashes the coins out, and then they take those coins and give them a direct deposit within 24 hours. It's pretty simple for them. And they just make their menu available to people with bread coins, really. So you have new customers coming in that might not have came in before because they didn't have money, but they've got bread coins. When I get a new restaurant partner, we focus on putting a couple $100 a month into that community. So there's extra money in that demographic now that wasn't there before to support the local business. I will say in Baltimore, it's been a target of mine to make sure that the guys who run this program, they're out of DC, just making sure that we focus on Black-owned, women-owned local businesses, right? So I don't even like to mention them because they're not paying me to mention them, but like Mission Barbecue and Chick-fil-A, they always show up for community. They always donate no matter what. They're a go-to. If you've done any community work in Baltimore, they're a go-to, right? So I know they would sign up for this program, but I'm getting donations to feed people, and they don't necessarily need that money like my local businesses do, right? So that's one of our other targets on the flip side of just not just meeting community needs, but building up community through supporting local business, right? So I make sure that our local businesses have a choice if they want to participate to have access to this extra income. There is further things that the organization does for local businesses. They have like microloans they can do where the businesses pay back these microloans with the bread coins. They do some other stuff as well that I don't really speak to because that's not my field. My field is like boots on the ground, just meeting people and feeding them, right? So, but there are people who have PhDs in economics, and they're supporting our local businesses who sign up. So, and then there's a great network of new, like young local businesses, black-owned businesses that are kind of just centered around. Of course, they're plugged into other networks like Black Wall Street and stuff, but they're centered around Breadcoin, and so there's this like tight knit Breadcoin family where if we're doing an event, the caterers will get together and split the work up and share and look out for each other. So it's been really great. Jefferson, let me see. I want to make sure I mention everybody, but there's Jefferson Butler, Habish with Butler Cooking, Habish of Flavor, Mick and I's been awesome. Denver Delights coming soon, right? We have Giovanna's Pizzeria in Northeast. We got Zella's Pizzeria in South by Holland's Market. We got TOG's. We got Tossed Together at Lexington Market. A lovely lady with lovely, just like really healthy choices, really fresh food. Which honestly, myself, I might not be able to frequent as much if I didn't participate in the Breadcoin program, right? And that's the other thing, folks. So like sometimes our vendors sign up and they say to me, well, hey, chap, like somebody came in and got some food today, but they didn't look like they were homeless or struggling. Well, number one, sometimes we can keep it together and look good when we don't have it. But number two, we don't want the coins to just be attached to the stigma of like poverty or struggle, right? We want the coins to be for everybody. So even as a church or as a person who it does not necessarily need food, I try to encourage people like spend $20 a month, get like 20, maybe $50 a month, get some bread coins, and then just take those coins and visit and support the vendors in that network, in the Breadcoin network, right? Because by supporting them, you're supporting the program. By using the coins, you're supporting the program. You're actually adding dignity to those who use the coins who may not be doing so well, because people will see it they'll destigmatize it. They'll see it as something for everybody. So yeah, sometimes I might show up, well dressed and treat someone well dressed like a police officer, somebody to lunch with the bread coins, because I do want to destigmatize it. I don't want people to feel some kind of way when they come in with these special coins, right? Like I want them to be like, oh man, you guys got those bread coins. I want to be excited about it, So yeah, I what can I say? Bread coins are pretty awesome. So we talked about bread coins. Level Up. If you guys just look up at Level Up Be More on IG. You can follow Dason and all his stuff. He's doing great work. Please don't judge his posts, because one of the things he does is he empowers the children that he mentors to post. So there's some grammar mistakes sometimes, or the camera work isn't that great. Understand that he's one person, and so he's deputizing and empowering the young men he's mentoring to take ownership of the program they're associated with, right? So you have these young guys who are, maybe 8, 9 years old, posting stuff on IG, right? Learning to be social media managers, right? So we give them a break on the grammar sometimes. We also have a Gogi project, which is a brand new gym in Bel Air, Edison. So Gogi has been Coach MJ and Coach Ori, Coach Childs and Coach Dennis have been training young men well over 5 years. With the help of Mr. Corey McRae and the help of Mr. Stefan, they have they locked in a space at a 3205 Bel Air Road, right down the street from Sharif's. It's a little south of Urban and Bel Air Road. And so the upstairs above the pizzeria that is not opened yet, they have a boxing and mixed martial arts gym with a classroom in one side, and then a boxing ring and mats and bags and workout equipment on the other side. So they've been in that space about a little over 3 months. I think I plugged in October, November, December, January, 4 months now. Somebody plugged me in, and I have I haven't left, man. I'm up there 3 days a week. These guys are awesome. So what they're doing at a Gogi Project, it is a boxing mixed martial arts youth development program. Um, Children, young people under 17 is free. As adults, we go and our cost is negotiable because they try to work with people in the community where someone like maybe somebody can afford $100 a month, maybe somebody can afford 25. Not everybody can afford it, so we try to. Oh, Stacy, give me 1 second. I'll address that. Let me finish rapping about Ogogi real quick. So Ogogi Project has this program for kids, adults. You can come in for a couple weeks for free, and then negotiate, what it looks like for you guys to stick around and keep the lights on for the kids. Everybody's out of pocket volunteer. Kids are accountable, so like the kids have to show up 3 out of 5 days a week. We are open Monday to Thursday from 4 to 8, and Saturday from 8 to 12. And again, the youth program is free. And so the kids have to commit to coming 3 out of 5 days a week. Training is 4 hours a day, and the first hour of training is the kids are going to be bilingual. So that's really huge, right? We got 50 kids in the program. We have a waiting list. We got 50 kids in Bel Air Edison who are not necessarily Latino. We have a handful, but they are learning to speak Spanish, and they're bilingual. After that hour, they do an hour and a half or so of jujitsu, hour and a half of boxing. So these guys are honestly, you guys will understand that this is what gun violence prevention looks like. It's not safe streets. It's not ceasefire. It's not any of that bullshit. It's engaging the young people, getting them off the street in a safe place, pouring into them, educating them, training them, and then, the 3 days a week they're in the gym, they're not on the street being victims of gun violence. They're also not perpetuating gun violence. And as we mentor them and pour into them, we're building the character that they're not going to be the ones who perpetuate gun violence, right? And if they get to the point where they feel they need to, they have a whole lot of outlets and steps they can take before they pull that trigger. They got mentors they can talk to. They've got teachers they can talk to. They've got, they can work stuff out in the ring. We've had kids, hey, you guys want to fight? Come on in off Clifton Park Golf Course. Come on in and figure it out in the ring. Oh, you don't know what you're doing? We'll stick around. We'll teach you what to do, and so we're pointing the kids that way. So a Gogi Project is super awesome. We actually took 14 kids. Well, I say we because I do participate in serving that community, but Coach MJ and Coach Ori and them took 14 kids and staff out to a tournament in Severna Park 2-3 weeks ago. And our family in Bel Air Edison brought home 14 medals, guys. They are doing the work. They are putting in the work. They did a jiu-jitsu tournament, won 7 golds, 5 silvers, and I think 2 or 3 bronze. If that math adds up, I think 2 bronze. So, Gogi Project, Level Up, Breadcoin. These are really great programs of value that we're working with currently in the community. So, Miss Stacy, outside of internet, how do y'all promote Breadcoin? It's wonderful and everyone will know about it. So that is a good question. So really it's word of mouth. I've been doing it since 2020 officially in Baltimore, trying to get the word out as a volunteer for them and as helping them out. And it's word of mouth. So when I found out about it, I was at Vicky's Fells Point Deli at Broadway Market on the north end. And she had this little sticker, little Breadcoin sticker. And I was like, what's this? And she told me about Breadcoin. And I'm like, this is amazing. Why isn't everybody doing this? Right. So long story short, I invited the guys to come on my show at 7. I have a show at 7 called Shared Space. I invited them on the show. We were talking about the Breadcoin and stuff, and they shared everything. And it sounded too good to be true, y'all. I'm 45 years Baltimore. Don't let this fool you, baby. I love my Chocolate City. I serve my community out here well. And so I was still like hesitant, right? I'm like, too good to be true. I don't really know these mugs, right? So, and Scott, the founder, loves when I tell this story. But I went down there. They had a flash table event they were doing. And so I went down to the community unannounced, and I went down to check on them and check them out, right? Like, I got there hours ahead of time to the space where they're supposed to do this community event. And if you ever done community work, first thing we do when we show up, we clean the space up, right? We don't want our people coming into a filthy trash space, right? So we started picking up trash. I started picking up trash, cleaning up, got it suitable for the event well before the event time came. Spoke with the owner a little bit of the restaurant down there that was a vendor partner. And of course, he's going to talk well about Breakpoint. That's why I signed up with the program. So then I hit the streets, did some outreach in Northeast DC, um, over by Ivy City area, Oliver or Olivet Street. And we're running around. I'm telling everybody, hey, free food. They're giving out free food this weekend, Saturday, blah blah blah. Come eat this and that. Did some outreach. Then on the way back, I stopped by this liquor store right next to the restaurant, and there was this gentleman hanging out there out front, and he's smoking, or he's asking for cigarettes, he's asking for money and stuff. So I never have money, just so y'all know. You see me in the street, I never have money, but I usually can buy you lunch with Breadcoin. Um, so my man, I had a cigarette, so I smoked a cigarette with my man, and I was like, and I'll leave his name out because I don't have permission to use his name, but I can tell my story. And I asked him, I said, "What's up with these Breadcoin guys, man? How are they? Like, how do they treat you? Like what's the deal, right?" And the guy was like, he spoke highly of them. The guy begging in front of the liquor store, the drunk in front of the liquor store that I'm smoking a fog with, spoke highly of them. He said that they treat the community well. They feed us all the time, like once a month. And come to find out that not only did they treat the community well, and he had these positive things to say about them, but someone who was perceived as the least in the community, the guy begging in front of the liquor store for money and cigarettes, they also made sure that every month he had bread coins in his hand to not only feed himself, but to find other people in the community in similar or worse situation than him and make sure that they ate. So they deputized this guy, um, and empowered him. And so here's someone who's perceived as the least in the community from outside eyes. But in the community, everybody know if you're hungry, you go see this young man and he would feed you. So that was significant to me, and that spoke to me. And then, of course, when we got there, I watched what they did, and I watched them feed people, and I watched them just again, everybody's at the table breaking bread, man, and it's what family and community is supposed to be. So I bought in with them after that, and to answer your question, that's a long way to answer your question outside the internet. It's word of mouth. Like I go around, I rely on relational equity of my friends and people that I know in Baltimore and people that know what I do. And if they respect me, then they have respect for what I do, and they'll say, "Hey, my friend's owns a restaurant, or my friend wants to start a catering business. Can they connect with you?" Absolutely. I've gone in and cold called a couple people just on reputation alone, like Mr. Terrence at Terra Cafe. One phone call to him, and he was good because we know each other. We know what we do. Um, there are but really it's word of mouth. I'm just old school. I don't do a lot of social media. I need to set up a social media like IG for Breakcoin and show you guys everything we're doing. But honestly, like God's hand is on it, and so no matter what I do, He's driving, and so no matter what I do, those spiritual connections are being made that are making building relationships that in the network that are not so transactional but transformational. So I prefer word of mouth. I prefer to be in the room with the person I'm telling you about Breadcoin if I can, because my spirit will physically resonate with a person or it won't. And we'll know immediately when we look at each other and we get that you get that vibe and you're like, okay, you're going to sign up. I already know you're going to sign up. I know you like what we're doing. It's in the spirit of what you're doing. And so like the TOG, like G and J, the guys who run TOGs, um, I hit them with Breadcoin and they hit me with that pay it forward program. And I'm thinking to myself, why isn't everybody doing this pay it forward program? So like now as I'm sharing Breadcoin with people, I'm saying, by the way, follow suit with these guys because here's what they're doing. And how hard is it to ask somebody for an extra dollar if they have it to help serve their own community, to take like they're taking care of their own community, right? So I love those guys for that. Um, yeah, so it's word of mouth, man. Really, Breadcoin's a great program. Of course, I go on the news. I was on Mark Clark talking about it Friday. I talk about it on my show, BlackUSA.News. We're talking about it here on Frontline News. Um, but yeah, we. I just, I'm a unique. I'm a unique person. Like you're not going to meet another white boy like me. Definitely. But I also, maybe diagnosable to some people. But I have ADD. I just run around. I do what's in front of me with excellence. I'm disorganized, but like God guides my steps, and so I rely heavily on Him. Right. I just whatever's in front of me, I have to do it with excellence because God has put it in front of me, and then He keeps taking me where I need to go and making connections that I couldn't have planned for if I had planned with my best intentions. So really trusting in God to build those relationships. Like today, Yolanda calling me to cover the show, and then Miss Campbell reaching out to me for her church. Like, there's no way we would have made this connection if God hadn't put those things in order, preceding us, preceding me being on the show, and you having reached out and saying, I want this at my church. So, that's how we do it. Yeah, there's just so much value in word of mouth. So I strongly believe, like, I have a tremendous tribe in Baltimore City. I dare say, like, I'm the mayor of Baltimore, because we have more reach than the mayor because of relational equity and word of mouth over 45 years of relational equity across the city. People know, we know who our family is. We know who we mess with. We know who we don't mess with. But there's nothing we can't do in this city. There's nothing I can't do in my city, no matter what. No matter whether the mayor tries to stop me, no matter whether the police try to stop us, because we have relational equity, because we stand in the truth and we move in the spirit. And so, like, who's going to stand against my God? I hate it for you if you do. So that is how I'm led with Breadcoin and these other programs we do. And right now, so in November, Stacy, just so you guys who are watching, November, I've been doing background acting as a side hustle as well for a while. Ever since We Own the City was filming and Thea Washington put me on through Val Jenkins, Hug Don't Shoot, Big Sis, Big Love. I ever since We Own the City, 2020, 2021, something like that, just been steady working, background work. And so November, I decided to stop spreading myself thin across the community, dial it back, focus on that acting career, go full time with the support of my wife, and then reinvest and reorganize my time to specific, just reorganizing my energy in specific places I know would be effective instead of spreading myself thin and pouring into broken vessels and calling everybody for everything. Lewis Thomas with PowerFest Baltimore told me, hey man, slow down, go slow to go fast. Donnie Glover told me, hey bro, like, let your phone ring. Right. And I took this advice from these guys and it changed my world. And so in November, going full time with the acting and pouring a lot of energy into that, trying to get it off the ground, get momentum going. But then, my wife's leaving for work. Love you. So with those things happening, I took what time I had left and I tried to pour it into Dayson with Level Up. Thank you, Miss Taylor. Thank you. But I poured into Dayson because this young man was, whether he realized it or not, was a high risk kid 5 years ago. And at 19, he was a published author. At 20, he had a certified 501c. He's finishing his senior year on a scholarship at Coppin for political science. So, like, whatever Dayson's doing, I promise you, whatever Dayson Brooks is doing with Level Up Be More, it is of value and it deserves your support. Hands down, I can tell you that because I give him everything I got. He's got 45 years worth of relational equity in the city because I believe in him and I see what he's doing, right? As well as a Gogi project. I got put on with these guys 3 months ago, but I stepped into the gym and my spirit was ignited, like with a tangible, fierce joy that was just like these things that are happening at Gogi and Bel Air Edison at a Gogi project where they're just amazing. I can't even talk enough about it. I'm inviting you guys, come down to the gym, talk to the coaches, Parnitha, Stacy. I know you guys are over West. Make a trip to Agoge one day after, for the after school program, dip in, check it out. You got family over East, send them over. We do adult classes. So all the time, my old girls are always like, oh, I'm too old to do this or that. Or no, you're not. I know a 90-year-old lady in Southeast Baltimore who would whoop my tail right now. She's 80, but she's been taking Kung Fu, or 90, but she's been taking Kung Fu since she was 50. Right? Like, whoa. So I don't play with her. But yeah, Gogi project, and the third thing is the Breadcoin. Like, those three things really get my attention because I feel like in my season right now, I can be most effective serving them directly. And of course, like, people empowered by the struggle. Yolanda and them, if she calls, I'm on the phone. Empowering Minds of Maryland's Youth. If Nicole Mosby Taylor calls, I'm there. Val Jenkins with Hug Don't Shoot, right? Of course, I have my tribe, my family. Quita with Smaltimore Homes, like, she's number one, honestly. Like, whatever Smaltimore Homes is doing, I got to be there. I got to. like because they're doing the work. And if I can support and help them out, I'm going to be there. Um, and so a lot of our groups, Green Mount West Community Center. Holy cow! Like these guys are amazing, amazing group of women running that space. I can't even just go into space, check it out. I can't even talk enough about it because they do so much. It'd be a whole nother hour just talking, just unpacking them. And really, all these groups that I'm mentioning, they just do such great work. Um, Stacy Hubbard with people encouraging people. Um, oh, Miss Taylor. So 3205 Bel Air Road. It's less than a block south of Urdman and Bel Air Road, and everybody over east knows Sharif's. So it's like south of Sharif's. Yeah, Agoge Project, agogeproject.org, AGOGE. Let me write it down for y'all because it is weird, right? I asked the coaches, I'm like, what is Agoge? So I had to look it up. I didn't know what Agoge Project was, agogeproject.org. So Agoge is the name of the curriculum which I believe the Spartans would take a regular citizen and turn them into a warrior. And of course, the Spartans are famous warriors, like historically famous warriors. Well, Gogi Project was the curriculum they did to transform them into those warriors, and that's what we're doing. We're building warriors for the community. Yep. Hey, yeah. There's a pizza shop downstairs. We're waiting for them to open, man. Because we're gonna get so fat. I love pizza. Um, so yeah, if you guys want to jump on, I'm gonna post a link again. If you guys figure out how to copy paste it, hop on the show. Let's talk, man, because I know you guys got stuff going on. Um, and I could talk. I could talk for another 20 minutes or so about my nonprofit stuff. Oh, another one. So after 2 years of kind of like reaching out and building, just building awareness, beating down the door on the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra. I have to say that I'm very encouraged that they began to donate 40 tickets a month so far, last couple months for concerts, and we're able to take the youth from Dayson's program, Level Up, the youth from Agoge, or anyone really in the community that we are serving. We're able to take them to the symphony, and which is pretty cool because when I was a kid, we had to go, and it was really cool. And the kids don't really go on field trips like that as much. I know they still do it. I'm not going to say they don't do it, but the situation in our city schools, they're not going like the county kids go. I'll say that. And that's if they show up to school because most of the kids are afraid to go to school right now because of all the violence and bullying and gun violence, and it's a whole another conversation. But we're going to speak positive. So we're able to, even though we're able to fill in the gap, step in the gap, and the ladies at the BSO have been donating tickets to us. We went to see Black Panther, saw the movie. The orchestra played the score live. That was wild. In December, we saw a mashup of the kids listen to Tchaikovsky with a mashup of Drake and Tchaikovsky, right? So that was really wild. Like you'd be listening to some classical music and then you hear the melody drop and it's like, oh, used to call me on my cell phone, right? You're like, oh my God. So that was cool. The Drake Tchaikovsky mashup was cool. This Saturday we're taking the kids to see a Calypso concert at 11. Yeah, no, they hardly go on field trips. Parnitha. I hope I'm saying your name right, Parnitha. Yes, it is sad. And so that's where we stand in and fill in, right? Dason took a group of his kids to the I want to tell you wrong, African American History Museum in DC. There's a waiting list. I don't know what was going on there, but he had to set everything up. He took the kids to DC. They went to this museum and visited a couple other museums. They were just dressed to impress, shirt and tie. They were representing excellence from Baltimore while they were in DC. And then he stayed in the hotel, had a little hotel party afterwards. So that was really great. But he's doing this out of pocket, guys. He's busting his ass. Full time school. He's finishing school this semester, while working part time at Parks and Recs and taking a little bit of money he's making and just pouring into the kids and then taking them to hotels and taking them to DC and doing all these things. So figure out, reach out to him on IG, Level Up, Be More. I can put it in the chat for you guys so that we can level up, be more. Let's see. I don't have anybody producing the show, so I'm producing and doing the show today. Level Up Be More on IG, right? Like, hit him up, say, hey, what do you need? What's your cash app? Send him $50, man. Help him get some gas money to get the kids around. Um, he's also working with Coach Blair and Coach James. These guys are football coaches over Northeast. Um, yeah, can't say enough about Dason. Definitely, yeah, yep, that's it. Definitely, actually, actually, if he's listening or you guys reached out to him, here's a message we need to send to Dason right now. And I followed up with him this morning, but I got to reel him in. He's doing a lot. He's mentoring over 150 children across the city in 34 different schools. Now, Jesus only did 12. Now he's doing it, but we need to reel him in and tell him slow down and help him understand. I mean, he's 20 years old, 22 years old, right? So I'm 45, and so we got a lot of wisdom we can pour into this young man. So if you connect with him, if you speak with him, if you start to support him, encourage him to go slow to go fast, because it's going to take him a while of hearing it over and over again before he does it. But we definitely need him to. Yeah, he needs a lot of help. Yeah, so he has a lot of help, but he's a young 20-year-old. He's going to do everything himself, whether or not the resources are there. So we just want to pour into him, pray for him, like listen, yeah, we pray for him. We pray for him to just continue the work sustainably, to get in self care, to make sure that he's providing quality care to the kids, but not at his health, not at the expense of his mental or physical health. So yeah, but we'll get him. We'll reel him in. I'm kind of at a point because I'm blessed to be one of his mentors, and it's like I want him to burn out a little bit. I want him to get worn down so that he's primed to receive that, right? So you guys know how it is. Uh, what else is going on? So education sucks. Oh, this is really obscure, but 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now, my son was black and missing. Yes, my youngest son, um, Sterling. Oh shoot. So my youngest son was black and missing. He is a very kind, gentle kid. He has been training at the Agogi Project, and he's been learning that you can express and articulate power and strength without being mean and hateful. Because a lot of times we associate strength with being a bully or being powerful with being like mean, and that's not always the case. And so my son's learning that because he's a kind person, and he is articulating strength on the mat and in the boxing ring. So that said, here's the thing. So my son's very kind, very gentle, very quiet soul. Please and thank you, kid, manners all day long. Um, and so what happened was he had a friend online, catfish or not, we don't care, we don't know. But there was a perceived injustice happening to his friend online. He perceived that she articulated that she was being abused by her father unfairly and being treated unfairly and unjust. And previous to this, my son can't do anything about it. But now that he's in the gym and he's building confidence, he found the confidence and encouragement there where he perceived this injustice and he stepped out and he was going to go handle it, right? And so that was like really wild to see that in him. So not, trying to see the silver lining. So my son perceived this injustice of a friend of his online who lived in Denver, right? So he decided he's going to walk there and handle it. He's going to handle the dad, confront him, take care of him, and take care of the girl and rescue the girl. And I'm wow, wow, because of the empowerment and the confidence he's building in the gym. I feel like this is how it unpacked. But then explaining to him like you did all the wrong things for the right reasons, and explaining to him that we have people that deal with abuse and we have people that deal with these things every day in Baltimore, and you didn't think to reach out to the tribe, and trying to explain to him that everything I do in the city I cannot do by myself by any means, and I lean on my tribe heavily to meet needs of people in those situations. And so his first mistake was not communicating, reaching out to family. Um, but here's the story. So just the background story why he stepped out. So my son stepped out in a perceived injustice. He was going to go save somebody, take care of them. And I noticed about 2 hours into it, he's missing. And so I called Monique Ruffin. You guys might know Monique Smith person. We know her last name's Ruffin, Simile Ruffin, but we call her Monique still, so known as Monique. It's a good question. So we'll get to my son. So I called her. I said, "What do I do?" She said, "How long has he been missing?" I said, 2 hours. And so a lot of times people make the mistake of waiting days or 24 hours to report someone missing. Report them immediately. 5 minutes, doesn't matter. Call the police. Something's wrong. My person's missing. Get a missing persons report. All right. And so I know we went through this so that we could advocate more specifically for people with missing persons and human trafficking. So, with our experience, we learned you call right away, get a missing persons report. You call 1-800 The Lost. You give them that information. Then you post on social media their picture, what they're wearing, last time you saw them. Post it, hey, they're missing, right? And 1-800 The Lost will help with that. And then what happened was I posted on Facebook. I got the number, did this whole process. Then I just hit the street with some of his coaches and family and friends. We started looking for him because it only been a couple hours. So we're out looking all day. And at 5:30, somebody posted on social media, "Hey, I saw your son walking on 695 outer loop heading west towards Charles Street." And Dason calls me at 6:30. He said, "Hey, did you see somebody saw your son?" And it didn't even occur to me to go back and check my comments because I just posted it. And I figured if somebody saw him, they'd have just assuming, like, I forgot to put my phone number in there, like, call me if you see him. I just posted it and then started looking like, trauma brain, right? And so, long story short, an hour after somebody saw him on 695, I called Baltimore County, called state police, said, so check it out. So check it out, right? So 12 o'clock, I noticed him missing. 2 o'clock, started making the phone calls. By 6:30, by 7 o'clock now, I called Baltimore County and state police, said he's on 695 heading towards heading west in the outer loop. Within 10 minutes, they called me back. So it took from the time I called the police at 2 o'clock, 5.5 hours, 7:30, they called me back. They said, well, we're going to be back home with your son within 10 minutes, right? So they called at 7:30. So by 8 o'clock, a total of 8 hours, but 6 hours since I started that phone call. Because the system works and the network works, my son was returned home. I'm a little embarrassed, definitely cold and hungry, and a little sobered. So how's he doing now is the other question, right? So how's he doing now is that we have some. It was an accountability thing for me as a father, right? Because here I am doing stuff in the community, but my son needed me to lean in more than I've been leaning in. So it was a wake up call for me to lean in more. My son's got a lot. Pranitha, he's got a lot of trauma. I got custody of him in 2020, right before COVID. So he's got a lot of stuff he's been working through. My youngest son, and some more stuff we're going to work through because of that adventure he took. Definitely not victim shaming him. However, so he hasn't been on his video games or on his phone since then. He's been kind of just like isolated from communicating with people just because we weren't sure. Yeah, praise God, right? We weren't sure, or did I want to try to go through the whole process of proving to him that this person was not who they said they were, because that part didn't matter. And so we'll work on that later, but just have him understand that if you perceive an injustice, you reach out to the family and we take care of it as a family. That's what we do. So yeah, there's still some counseling and stuff we got to do, and some therapy, of course. And yeah, there's more to the story. There's more to the story that we'll share at another time. But yeah, it was a unique experience that we had as a family. I never thought one of my kids would go missing for any reason. So thank God he wasn't picked up or human trafficked. Thank God he wasn't. He was leaving for that reason and not leaving to go explore drugs or do more wild, crazy stuff. And I'll share with you guys too, man. Some of the kids that we mentor out here are 7, 8, 9 years old, and they are out till 1 a.m. They're out at 9 years old having sex because it's an escape. It makes them feel good. They and of course, if their home life isn't great or school sucks or everything around them sucks, having sex feels good. And if you're doing that at 9, that's crazy to me. I could never imagine that. So it's hard to, especially being perceived as white, serving young black men. There's already a little bit of a bridge I have to build because I don't look like them necessarily. I don't have I grew up in Baltimore, but I definitely don't have that experience of, being sexually active that young. So, these are things that as parents we need to lean in and pay attention to. It's not healthy behavior, but it's healthier than some. maybe. I don't know. It's a tough one. These are some of the realities we deal with our kids. The gun violence I don't really understand because I did some pretty illegal things as a teenager, but I never once felt the need to carry a gun. I think everybody in Baltimore has a gun, whether it's registered or not. I assume that. Um, but I just never felt the need to carry one. It's crazy, like because I knew if I carried it, I'd use it. I think so. There was always that. Let me see. Got my man's texting me right now. Oh, okay. So cool. Yep. Let's see. Can this says sponsors? So Quita is going to be medicated on the show tonight. You guys should tune in. She took some Mucinex. That'll be fun. Um, I'm gonna get off here a couple minutes early. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys for watching. I'm sorry you didn't get to see Jason and Yolanda and the crew tonight. Pray for them as they're dealing with a family emergency. So, thank you guys for listening to me. Please check out Agogi. Please check out breadcoin.org. Put that in the messages as well. Um, and you guys have my number up here on the screen. You can go back and look at it later if you need to. Text me, call me if you need anything. I am the chaplain. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. I'm going to take a couple minute break before my next show. Have a good night, guys.